It's Friday, year 3, it's Friday. I love a Friday, as you know, and we've been working really hard this week in year 3 at home and in school. We are the year 3 superstars. Okay, going to take all that off now so we can get round to some work, and we've been coping really well this week. We've been working very differently at this time. Miss B and I and Mrs Owen and Miss Squires have been amazed at your super duper work. We have loved seeing it coming in. Keep going with that. It's amazing. So great stuff. We're really keen to work on developing our reading skills, and we mustn't forget that it's a very important part of our curriculum and what we teach you in school, and it's something that we need to be making sure that we're doing every day. It's essential to do reading each day when you're in year 3 and beyond, really. We are having a think about reading for pleasure and enjoying reading. We say it's a skill. It sort of is a skill because you have to give yourself time to learn how to read, but also there is a massive part of reading that for a lot of people is hugely enjoyable, and it brings us a lot of joy and a lot of good feelings, which we need at the moment. So moving forward, as a little Friday treat, we're going to share a picture book today, and it's by one of my favourite authors. He reminds me a lot of Roald Dahl, which is another one of my favourite authors, with my very favourite illustrator of all time, which is Quentin Blake. But also this particular author has an illustrator who's very similar actually to Quentin Blake, and he's another one of my favourites. And that author is David Walliams, and I've got one of his books here. In fact, I've got a few of his books here. So let's get down to business. You're going to settle back and cosy up while Mrs Ludlow reads a book to you. It's a picture book, and it is David Walliams' There Is a Snake in My School. First thing I need to say is that this reading is with permission of the author and HarperCollins Children's Books. David Walliams has been very generous with teachers. He's been very supportive of teachers during the initial lockdown, and he's given permission for teachers to read and tape their readings and without any copyright issues. So we think he's amazing, and he's a bit of a superstar. And I've got the book here, and I read it earlier. Excuse me. So we'll get on with it. Please excuse my please excuse my shaky camera. I was reading it plus trying to video it at the same time. Let's listen to the video.
There's a Snake in My School by David Walliams. David Walliams, the author, and Tony Ross, the illustrator. David Walliams presents There's a Snake in My School. Mr. Bright had told all the children in his class it was Bring Your Pet to School Day. Everyone rushed into the playground to meet the animals. There was a stupidly cute gerbil, a tiny goldfish, a fat cat, a 100-year-old tortoise, and a tall dog. Last to arrive as usual was a little girl called Miranda. She was riding on the back of an enormous slithery snake. "Meet Penelope, my pet python," announced Miranda. On seeing the snake, the other children screamed, "Ah!" Miranda loved being different. She always stood out at the school with her individual take on the school uniform. her cartwheels down the corridor, and her funny answers in class. What ended in 1945? 1944? A python is rather an unusual pet, but Miranda and Penelope had so much fun playing together. For the little girl, the snake would pretend to be a balloon, a hula hoop, a scarf, a telescope, and sometimes, when they were both feeling particularly mischievous, a trombone and a third arm. He's pinched his bottom. Come and give her a tickle, encouraged Miranda, but the other children were too scared. Penelope was a python after all, and pythons eat people. And all the pets were frightened too. The goldfish tried to hide behind some water. The tortoise made a rather slow run for it. The large dog yanked on his lead and sent his tiny owner flying. The cute gerbil flashed her gnashers and didn't look so cute anymore. The fat cat just carried on napping. Miranda slid down her snake, and the little girl tickled her python under the chin, and the snake smiled. See, she's very friendly. Soon everyone was gathered around to marvel at Penelope. The python loved the attention and made a climbing frame for the children to climb on, steps for them to step up, and a fireman's pole for them to slide back down. Penelope even helped the children learn their numbers, although she could only go up to 9. This was turning into the best day of school ever, but then Miss Bloat, the headmistress, thundered into the playground. "There's a snake in my school!" she shouted. Miss Bloat didn't like animals much, or children, but it's bring your pet to school day, spluttered Mr. Bright. "And Penelope is my pet," said Miranda. "Miranda, I should have known you would have to be different. A snake is not a pet, it's a menace," snapped Miss Bloat. "Mr. Bright, all these filthy beasts are confiscated." All the girls and boys shouted, "No!" as the headmistress stuffed their pets into the lost property cupboard, except for Penelope Snake. Miss Bloat had other ideas for her. "This disgusting thing is coming with me," bellowed the headmistress. And with that, she dragged the poor python along the corridor to her office. "Where are you going to put Penelope?" asked Miranda. "In the bin." "No!" Miss Bloat crammed the snake into her bin and slammed the lid shut. Then she plonked herself down on top so the python couldn't escape. The bin rattled and rattled, but Penelope was trapped. "A snake in my school, indeed! Get back to your lesson!" Downstairs in the classroom, tears rolled down Miranda's cheeks. All the children were sad to have their pets taken away, but no one was sadder than Miranda. The little girl feared she would never see Penelope again. At the end of the day, Miranda dashed upstairs to Miss Bloat's office to try and make her change her mind. Miss Bloat, the headmistress's door, looks very scary. There was no answer, so slowly Miranda pushed open the door, only to see Penelope sitting in the headmistress's chair. Miranda ran towards her pet and gave her a humongous hug. Miss Bloat was nowhere to be seen, so the little girl grabbed the key on the desk and ran to the lost property cupboard as fast as she could and unlocked it, and the animals were overjoyed to be set free. Whoosh! Hooray! Miranda and all the pets slid down Penelope's back into the playground. The children shouted, "Hooray! That looks amazing fun." Penelope entertained everybody again. She made a seesaw for them, a swing for them to swing on, a skipping rope to skip with, a wheel for them to roll in, and Penelope even helped some of the younger children with the alphabet, although it was very hard to do an X. As for Miss Bloat, she had completely disappeared. So Mr. Bright, the head teacher, was made headmaster. Now the children were allowed to bring in all their favourite animals whenever they wanted, and the school became home to every sort of fantastic creature. An ostrich, a giraffe, a tiger, a gorilla, an elephant, a kangaroo, a crocodile, and even a colony of penguins. And a grizzly bear. Very well behaved. But the star attraction was always Penelope. Though Miranda had noticed that there was something different about her python. There was a bulge, a big bulge in the snake's tummy, a bulge in the shape of Miss Bloat. But the little girl thought it was best not to say anything. "Let me out!"
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And I certainly did. I love the fact that she's wearing her glasses. So, Reading for Pleasure, David Williams. He's got a really good website if you get a chance to today or over the weekend. Do have a look at that. It's quite good fun. There's lots of little puzzles on there. There's lots of downloads. There's lots of information about all the different books. He has a huge range of books, and he's sold I think it's over 20 million copies. It's huge numbers of books, and considering he hasn't actually been an author for that long, I've got the Go Bananas book, which came out just before Christmas. I think it was around about half term actually, and I pre-ordered this because I really wanted to read it, and did start reading this with Emerald class, but unfortunately we've had to stop because of self-isolating and then now lockdown. But I've started reading it and I really like it. I'm not all the way through it actually, but I'm going to try and do that. Obviously I've got this one, and I have also got this one. This is The Ice Monster, and that's another one. It's about a story of a 10-year-old orphan and a 10,000-year-old mammoth. So they look really good, and he usually bases a lot of his stories in London as well, which is, it's quite familiar to me, so, and a lot of us, so that's really good. One of the things on here that I noticed with the Codename Bananas book is that he's wants you to print things out, and there's a bookmark there that's got a big banana on it, and you know how Mrs. Ludlow likes top bananas and bananas. And also down the bottom here, this is just a little copy of information from his website, and there's bunting there, which I thought might be quite nice to decorate behind me because it's so bare. And for most of his books he's got little little puzzles and things like that on there as well that you can print out. And he's also got this button on his website, which I think I lasted about 10 seconds before I just had to press it. So if you go on there, try not to press it, see how long it takes you. It's really hard to do. And then at the bottom of the page, he's got a whoopee cushion as well, so you can press that if you want to, and it's got a really naughty sound excuse me, really naughty sound on it. So, you know, not only are we reading for pleasure and finding it, you know, that his books are really good because they're a little bit cheeky as well, and they're really enjoyable. There's so many books out there to get enthusiastic about, and reading is one of those things that is love. No, you know, it's your own time, and you can enjoy them, and you can share them with your friends, etc. So lots to do. Now, after this video now, what I'd like you to do is obviously go and have a little read of something and have a little bit of time to do that. If you're in school, hopefully you will either have a reading book from your teacher, or you might have a book with you. If you're at home, just go and find any book that you can. Don't forget you've got your 6 books that we gave you just on this lockdown. We managed to get those out to you, so one of those or your favourite book. Just spend a little bit of time today having a really good read for pleasure. And at the end of this, we've got two activities. You only need to choose one of them. The first one is you can choose to do a book review, and you might want to do that on the book that I've just read to you, or another one. And the second one, so this is the book review here. There is a cool version of this as well, and this one here is your favourite book character. Okay, and on the bottom of this there's also instructions on what you do with each one of these boxes. So this one is describing the character, what they look like and their personality. This one is to do a drawing, and this one is why you like them. So not a huge amount of writing in there. You've got drawings in both of them, and this is about, you know, would you recommend this book to somebody else, and it's asking you why, so you need to write those in. Okay, so have fun reading, and I hope that goes well, and enjoy your weekend. Have a nice time, have a nice little chill out, and reading would be amazing. Okay, so have a good weekend, year 3.